We're doing a live thing. Hi everyone, it's 8 o'clock. I'm live on Facebook. Facebooks. 2 books tonight. Because we are going to finish the Emerald City of Oz. We're going to discuss the ending and how it means there's no more Oz books. And then we're going to start the next Oz book because there are more Oz books. And we're going to discuss how that happened. So, tonight we read Chapter 30 of the Emerald City of Oz. It's a very short chapter, hence the fact that we have time to discuss the fate of Oz. See, this is all of Chapter 30 right here. Boom. Y'all probably just read it. I don't need to do it, but I'll read it for you. Emerald City of Oz, Chapter 30. How the story of Oz came to an end. Aww. The writer of these Oz stories has received a little note from Princess Dorothy of Oz, which, for a time, has made him feel rather discontented. The note was written on a broad white feather from a stork's wing, and it said, "You will never hear anything more about Oz, because we are now cut off forever from all the rest of the world. But Toto and I will always love you and all the other children who love us. Dorothy Gale." This seemed to me too bad at first, for Oz is a very interesting fairyland. Still, we have no right to feel grieved, for we have had enough of the history of the land of Oz to fill 6 storybooks, and from its quaint people and their strange adventures we have been able to learn many useful and amusing things. So good luck to little Dorothy and her companions. May they live long in their invisible country and be very happy. And that is the end of the saga of Oz. 6 wonderful books, and now Oz is cut off from the rest of the world, so how can we get their stories now? Well, L. Frank Baum had decided he was done writing Oz books. He'd written 6 of them. He really wanted to write other stories. He did not want to be just the Oz guy forever. So he left Oz behind. He tried writing other things, but children all over the world sent him letter after letter after letter, begging him for more stories from Oz. So we come to Book 7. After 2 years, this is the prologue of Book 7. Through the kindness of Dorothy Gale of Kansas, afterward Princess Dorothy of Oz, a humble writer in the United States of America was once appointed Royal Historian of Oz, with the privilege of writing the chronicle of that wonderful fairyland. But after making 6 books about the adventures of those interesting but queer people who live in the land of Oz, the historian learned with sorrow that by an edict of the supreme ruler Ozma of Oz, her country would thereafter be rendered invisible to all who lived outside its borders, and that all communication with Oz would, in the future, be cut off. The children, who had learned to look for the books about Oz and who loved the stories about the gay and happy people inhabiting that favored country, were as sorry as their historian that there would be no more books of Oz stories. They wrote many letters asking if the historian did not know of some adventures to write about that had happened before the land of Oz was shut out from the rest of the world. But he did not know of any. Finally, one of the children inquired why we couldn't hear from Princess Dorothy by wireless telegraph, which would enable her to communicate to the historian whatever happened in the far-off land of Oz without his seeing her or even knowing just where Oz is. That seemed a good idea, so the historian rigged up a high tower in his backyard and took lessons in wireless telegraphy until he understood it, and then began to call Princess Dorothy of Oz by sending messages into the air. Now, it wasn't likely that Dorothy would be looking for his wireless messages or would heed the call, but one thing the historian was sure of, and that was the powerful sorceress Glinda would know what he was doing, and that he desired to communicate with Dorothy. For Glinda has a big book in which is recorded every event that takes place anywhere in the world just the moment that it happens. And so, of course, the book would tell her about the wireless messages. And that was the way Dorothy heard that the historian wanted to speak with her. And there was a shaggy man in the land of Oz who knew how to telegraph a wireless reply. The result was that the historian begged so hard to be told the latest news of Oz so that he could write it down for the children to read that Dorothy asked permission of Ozma, and Ozma graciously consented. That is why, after 2 long years of waiting, another Oz story is now presented to the children of America. This would not have been possible had not some clever man invented the wireless, and an equally clever child suggested the idea of reaching the mysterious land of Oz by its means. L. Frank Baum, historian, Land of Oz. And that is how we arrive at Chapter 7, The Patchwork Girl of Oz. We will begin Chapter 1 live on Facebook at 8 o'clock tomorrow night. I hope you'll join us. Good night, everyone.